Okay, so it's been slow at work recently, and it's giving me the opportunity to cook up these crazy little adventures. So I recently completed another one to upstate New York, and I wanted to outfit the Jeep with a tent and stove and water, food like provisioned out for a few days. And I took it upstate for a few days, and this is that little adventure.
There's a wealth of interesting areas within a day's drive, but for this first trip, I wanted to keep it simple and only move in short hops. I also wanted to stick with established campgrounds. However, another great resource are websites like HipCamp, where people offer camping on private land for a reasonable fee. I use this method to secure a place for the first night's camp. One thing I'm working on is driving earlier in the day. After bumbling into many campsites well after dark and scrambling to set up, I'm learning that arriving early makes all the difference.
Okay, so here's the quick 1 minute tour of the campsite here in outside of Melrose, New York, and that back there is the Hudson River. It's shrunk. All right, so I've got camp basically set up. I might extend the awning on the tent, but there was a concrete pad right near the parking area, so I don't like to schlep, even though there's a very nice wooden platform over there that I'm sure many people like gravitate to put their tents up. I'm just going like a few steps from the Jeep because it makes it so much faster to set up. I've got power running from a Jackery battery in the Jeep. So that's my main power source right here. It's 1,000 watts. And I use that to blow up the air mattress inside the tent. It's also powering this fridge here, which I'm going to pull out the burgers and maybe some salsa a little bit later, but that's all loaded up for a few days. Pretty basic air mattress. I got a pillow top fitted sheet on there for more padding. I've got a sleeping bag and I've got this down blanket on top. So I think that should cover me for tonight. There's my bathroom kit all set for tonight. It's got a little mirror there. I like that. My clothes down there. Guess what this is? Yep, you're right. It's the pee bottle. I love these Front Runner soft packs. I put all my kitchen stuff in that one. And then this plastic bin is my pantry. I got this little cutting board to cut some onions, put on the burger, and good old trusty old Coleman stove. And then if it gets cold, which I don't think it's going to get that cold, I can fire up the buddy heater off of the bigger propane tank. All right, burger, chips, salad, salsa, Modelo. Who drinks Modelo? Sun is setting, and I think it's a perfect time for an evening kayak paddle. And I'm going to attempt to use that wheelbarrow to transport the kayak down to the river. Wheelbarrow, bad idea. Too slippery. So I human muled it down to the river, and I just slipped in the mud here on the bank because it's super slippery. But here we go. Well, up at camp just a few minutes ago, you could see the sun setting, but now down here on the mighty Hudson, it is quite set behind the horizon. Big old nest up in that tree. Good sized bird, maybe an eagle. Yeah, it's just really lovely right now. So always opportunity to kayak is always taken. You can probably hear it. I think there's some kind of hydro facility here. The current coming out in the middle is really strong. Look at this current over here. Whew. It's time to head back, I guess. It's a sign. Okay, we have camp set up in night mode. Beautiful fire pit, plenty of wood. Got the lantern on the picnic table and the awning set up. And then inside, probably not the best lens, but you can see we have a couple of lights set up and stars are out. Anyway, it's 9 o'clock and it has been a long drive, and I'm looking forward to kind of turning in and relaxing.
As I packed up camp the next morning, my pace was unhurried to better take in the sights and sounds of life along this little corner of the Hudson. After leaving the campsite around noon, I pulled over just up the road to take a few more pictures.
I'm down, took some steps in an old dock down onto the shore of the Hudson here in Troy, New York, and it's feels very low tide. Actually smells like the beach. It's interesting because we're so far upstate. It was a good night, very mild. Got chilly toward early morning, but I didn't really get to sleep until probably about 2:30. It just took me forever to fall asleep, but you know, I got enough fuel in the tank, 5 or 6 hours to get up for adventuring today. So let's get after it.
After a quick stop at nearby Saratoga Racetrack, I pushed 2 hours north to a spot deep in the Western Lakes region of Adirondack Park. As evidence of distinctive regional architecture began to appear, the Hudson landscape yielded to a less developed wilderness of lakes and rising mountain elevations. Reaching the Fish Creek campground, I set things up in a steady and vigorous wind, with the portent of heavy rain moving in during the night. Instead of documenting my first night's activities, I battened down the hatches and retreated to the tent to read, determined to sleep through whatever was to come.
I'm staying at Fish Creek campground for the next 2 days, and a rainstorm came in overnight, but the tent held up okay. The cold was nothing worse than I've experienced so far, but that rainstorm brought in a weather front. It's much colder, and tonight it's going down to about 32. Tomorrow night, which would be my last night, it is going down into the 20s. So I think I'm going to stay tonight and check out tomorrow. But for now, on this gray, overcast, cool day, I'm just going to explore. I actually drove the Jeep over to the adjoining campground, which is called Rollins Campground. So, I'm not pushing it. I'm just adapting, getting used to cool weather camping, being kind of exploring mode with the Jeep, and then I will head back down to home base in Ossining. I'm hiking a little ways down a trail that connects Rollins Campground to Fish Creek Campground. Forest is dead quiet, except for birds. And I guess I've got larger animals on my mind, like bears. So I know black bears are generally pretty shy. And the guys at the check-in station said they haven't seen, and they usually don't see many in this area. What the hell is that? I hope it's just a big woodpecker. Don't Sasquatch make knocking sounds. Jesus Christ. Well, I'm almost back to the Jeep. This looks like I'm getting out alive.
After the terrifying hike at Rollins Campground, the day's exploration led west toward Tupper Lake. Exploring this region, expect to find less than ideal pavement conditions and all manner of architecture rich with the area's history. Whatever turn the roads took, you were reminded that this is largely an unspoiled wilderness area and a true gift to anyone who feels some tug of connection to the natural world.
Well, guys, it's my last night. Gonna get a little colder tonight and cold for the rest of the week, so I'm not a glutton for punishment, but it's actually pretty comfortable right now, about 45. With this fire, it's fine.
Indifferent to my rambling monologue, the ducks had joined me for dinner on the shoreline a few yards away.
Good morning. Well, it is miserable here this morning. It's low 30s, now probably 34-ish, and drizzled all night. I had a great time exploring here in the past 2 days, so I'm gonna pack it up and go get some breakfast somewhere. Even when it's in the 40s, it's not bad. You can really enjoy yourself out here, but when it's drizzling and below 40, then I think that's nature's way of saying party's over, folks. They said it couldn't be done, but that wet, soggy, sandy mess has been stuffed into its bag.
As I said goodbye to Fish Creek Pond, with the weather intensifying, I'd worked up an appetite and was looking forward to breakfast in Lake Placid. When I got there, however, it appeared Lake Placid was closed. There was construction everywhere. I had picked a really bad day to visit. It was time to head home and look for sustenance further down the road. Adventure still had one more encore in store as I descended into the notch alongside Cascade Lake, eastbound on 73. What were flurries back at camp had turned into a near whiteout in the mountain pass. I was finally able to find a decent place to eat about an hour south in Lake George, and the book could be closed on this particular voyage of the SS Adventure. It had only been 3 days, but I had put 500 miles and several seasons behind me, making the warm evening on the Hudson in Troy seem like a long time ago. I guess that's the sign of a good adventure. It would be nice to be home, take a shower, the wind and rain barely a distraction outside the window. At least for a little while.